Hey, Veritas. This has been the end of a long week here, and so forgive me if this is a little bit more ragged than my usual videos here. I don't really have any prepared statements, and so if you don't mind, I'll just ramble a bit. Um, I just want to say I really like the spirit in which your latest ironic ecumenical video, I guess, was put out. I really appreciate it actually, and I bet you're wondering right now. It's like why did it get the reception it did? It seemed to kind of like go over like a lead balloon, right? It's like clanged on deaf ears and stuff, right? So I want to speak about that a little bit, and I think there's two main reasons why it went over the way it did. Okay, the first one I think is it's um, it's one thing to like talk the talk, right? But it's another thing to like walk the walk. So I think your views on this subject are undergoing some change here, and I think that as you continue in this spirit, I think people will see more in your actions the thoughts that you embody, and once they do that, I think a lot of this stuff will go away, right? I mean, it's so it you know if you show it rather than say it, I guess is the message here, right? Second issue, as I think is kind of interesting. And I actually learned this from somebody who wrote in a comment on one of my YouTube videos. I forget who it is. I'm really sorry. I wish I would have remembered it. If you know who you are, thank you very much because this really helped me a lot. I made a ironic ecumenical video too, and somebody wrote in the comments something which really made me think a lot. They wrote, these differences between us, you're trying to make them seem trivial, but really they're not trivial. Really, they're very important differences, and I thought about that a lot. And I said, why would these differences be so important? Because you're right. I mean, it's like our common humanity just so overwhelms everything else that's there, right? Um, most people believe exactly the same thing on most topics. But we do make a big difference out of these differences, right? We kind of draw a stake in the ground here and say, okay, this is what I stand on. This is my ground of being. This is how I define myself. This is how I give meaning to my life, really, right? I am this kind of person. I am a pious person. I am a God fearing person, or I am a scientific person, or I am a rational person, or I am I am an artist. I am a musician, right? All these different ways that we define ourselves. I am a Christian. I am a Muslim, right? It's like, and these are important, right? Because it is how we define ourselves. It's how we interpret the meaning that our lives have. Let me put it that way, right? This is the way in which we express the value that we think our lives have. And so, if you say something like the differences between us are trivial, what you're kind of saying, what people hear when they hear that is that the things that you're using to define your life, the things that you're using considering as ultimate import, those things are trivial, right? If the differences between us are trivial, then the meaning that I've assigned to my life is trivial, right? So people tend not to like it when you when you tell them things like that, as you know. So yeah, so basically, instead of you know, to express that ecumenical spirit, instead of like saying that we, relying on our common humanity, for example, you said that we all put our heads on our pillows at night and get up in the morning. It's very true. But we also, it's not just human beings that do that, right? I mean, it's like chimpanzees put their heads down at night and go to sleep and hope to wake up the next day and live a good day, right? Too, right? So it's like you might as well be talking about our common primatehood or our common mammalian nature, right? All mammals, care for their children. All mammals, do this kind of stuff, right? So it's like, if you look at the stuff that we are, what comes up our common humanity, yes, it's huge, it's vast, but the things that we consider the most important in our lives actually are these differences that we use to distinguish ourselves. I am this kind of person. This is the kind of person that I am. Like you say, I want to be an apologist. That's what I want to be. I want to be a very good apologist on YouTube. This is the stake that you've driven in the ground, right? And this is the kind of person that you want to be. It's very important to you, right? It gives a lot of meaning to your life. So to trivialize that or to play it down is really to trivialize what's really very much importance to you. So how do you do it the right way? What's the answer to this, right? This is textbook Rortianism. I got this from Richard Rorty, so this is no great insights of my own brain here. It's the best answer I've come across to this. And I'm sure Richard Rorty would say that he got it from somebody else too. This is nothing new, but basically pluralism, right? What is this all about? Instead of trying to minimize the difference between people, what we have to do is we have to celebrate the difference between people, right? I'm actually very glad that you're a Christian. I am happy that you believe in God, right? And that's what we have to do. We have to celebrate. Okay, my friends who are a Muslim, I celebrate the fact that they're a Muslim. I'm glad that there's Muslims in the world, right? Why is this? I mean, it's because of this very fact. It's another way of relating to reality. It's another way of generating meaning. So the more of these that we have around, the better, I think. And instead of looking for one huge common thing that we have in common, human nature is one gigantic thing that we have in common, or we're all created in the image of God, and we have that in common. Look for a whole bunch of little teeny tiny things that bind us together, right? And also, we don't have to believe all the same thing, right? It doesn't matter if we believe the same thing. What we do have to do is we have to live together in peace and harmony, right? And we do have to have sort of commonality of action, right? But we don't have to have commonality of belief at all. It's not even desirable that we have commonality of belief. And let me just insert here. I think that's why there's 4 Gospels in the New Testament, for example. And I think that's why they contradict each other. I think whoever put together those 4 Gospels realized, okay, they knew that there were contradictions between the stories that were there. I mean, it's obvious, but they very deliberately put those next to each other there because it's very important to have more than one. You can't tell the story of Jesus just from one viewpoint. It can't be told that way, and I think the human story can't be told that way either. We need to tell it from an atheist viewpoint. We need to tell it from a Muslim viewpoint. We need to tell it from a Christian viewpoint. All this kind of stuff, right? So I think the best person who really exemplifies this on YouTube, I think, is Ben Caruth, of course. I'll put a link to his video over here, where he talks about and speaks way more eloquently about this kind of stuff than I ever could. Basically, it's like whatever you take your stand on your meaning, whatever you do, okay, you have to celebrate that in the other person. You have to understand. You have to appreciate that. So, anyway, I hope this made some sense. I'll catch you later.